So thank you everyone for coming. This is the webinar on how to use BiggerPockets to become a Rockstar real estate investor. That is a Rockstar. And I'm not talking about like Rockstar like that drum set behind me, even though I wish I was a rock star. That was actually my goal in high school, was to be a rock star. And then I realized I couldn't play instruments very well. But we're going to talk about Rockstar in that you're successful, that you're awesome, and that you get all the ladies. And just kidding on that one. But that's what I mean, like how to become a successful long-term real estate investor, not somebody who's here just for a quick flash in the pan. I want you to be successful for your entire career, to be able to achieve all those things that you want to achieve in life. So whatever your goal is, that's what I want to help you become. And to do that, I'm going to show you a bunch of tools on BiggerPockets that you can use to help you become that. So this is kind of half education, half training on how to use BiggerPockets. That's kind of what this webinar is about. So we're going to cover a bunch of stuff today. I'm going to try to keep this thing to about an hour long. And at the end, we're going to go over some Q&A, some question and answer. So if you have any questions, you can ask me then. So with that, let's move on. Let's make sure my slides turn okay. All right. So the first slide, hopefully you all see it there. If not, let me know. But the first one should be, what is BiggerPockets? What is BiggerPockets? Whoa. Okay. So what is BiggerPockets? BiggerPockets is the real estate investing social network, marketplace, and information hub. I'll say that first. That BiggerPockets is the real estate investing social network, marketplace, and information hub. Those three kind of corporate sounding things. Let me break those down real quick for you. Number one, we are a real estate social network. Facebook, Google+, Twitter, all those things that you share your cat videos and whatever else. That's what we are, but without the cat videos. We have one purpose with our social network: to build a nation of successful real estate investors. Everything we do on our social network is designed that way, to help you become more successful as a real estate investor. It's kind of a novel concept, kind of like LinkedIn, except for not for job searching. It's for financial freedom. So we are the Financial Freedom Social Network. Next, we are and on that, we obviously have like profiles, and you can connect with people. You can talk with people on the site. You can do all this cool stuff. Next, we got the marketplace. BiggerPockets is a marketplace, and we also have a marketplace. So what I mean by that, there's an official place called the marketplace. We'll talk about it later. But we're also just a marketplace in that people buy and sell deals all the time on BiggerPockets. Like specifically, they do deals together. They do business together as part of the social network. And then third, we are the information hub of all real estate investing information you could ever find. I mean, there's so much information on BP. Likely you've already found that already, that, as you navigate around the site, you get in these like wormholes or whatever you want to call it. Like you go down these rabbit trails, and pretty soon you got like 40 browser windows open because you're reading so much. That's very, very common. It still happens to me all the time because we have over 1 million forum posts. We have, I think, over 10,000 blog posts. We've got articles. We've got 119 episodes of the BiggerPockets podcast, averaging an hour and 15 minutes a piece. We've got a brand new podcast called the Ask BP podcast, just launched this week. Hopefully you've all had a chance to check that out. We've got YouTube videos. We got SoundCloud. We are pretty much everywhere you could possibly be on the internet, and we are putting out information for free about real estate investing. So that's what we're best known for, is as being the information hub of real estate on the internet. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more. That was kind of the description of what BiggerPockets is, but let me the kind of the cliche or the corporate sounding definition of what it is. But let me say, actually, BiggerPockets is different things to different people. And so for a minute, let me just kind of tell you what BiggerPockets has done for different people, because again, it's different for everyone. So the first one I want to talk about here is my buddy Ben Grice. Ben was on the podcast a while back and told his story. And basically his story is he is a professional poker player. And, he's, semi-famous, like you can find him on Google and stuff. He's like makes money that as a poker player, which is pretty cool. But he realizes he doesn't want to be in that for the rest of his life. It doesn't matter how cool your job is if it's still a job. If you have to do it to earn money, you have to trade your time for dollars, it's still a job. And he recognized that and said, well, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to eventually have, time to spend with my family or kids or whatever. I want to be able to let go of that and be able to enjoy my life a little more. So Ben, he decided to, was kind of looking around at what to do. And then one day he magically got this piece of paper taped to his windshield on his car while he was inside like Home Depot or something. And while he was there, he goes up to his car, finds this thing, and it's like, you want to make millions of dollars in real estate. And it was something like, piece of paper trying to sell him some product or whatever. And so he went online that night, searched about searched about real estate, found BiggerPockets, and started reading and learning. And now makes more money, or at least, last time we talked to him, I haven't talked to him in a few months now, but he made more money last year than the average American family makes. And he made it through real estate investing. So kind of cool. So he used the site as a source of education to not pay $50,000, $100,000 to these salesmen who are trying to sell you on some information product. He's like, I'm going to figure this out on my own. It's like the American way, right? I'm going to do this on my own without, some person trying to tell me I have to pay them lots of money to learn. So that's what Ben uses it for. And that's kind of what it is to him. Mehran is another guy. He's a good friend of mine on the site. He is an investor from Los Angeles, California. However, he can't invest, or he doesn't want to invest in LA because prices are way too expensive. Prices are extremely high if you're from there, or if you're from New York or Denver or Seattle, you know what I'm talking about. Prices get very, very expensive in some of those bigger cities. And so he looked at that and said, well, I want to be able to leave my job eventually. I want to be able to quit. I want to be able to, someday achieve this financial freedom. I can't do that here. So he used BiggerPockets to connect with people and to network. And then he ended up working together with people on BiggerPockets, specifically in the Midwest. He does a lot of work with like Don Anastasi, who's one of our moderators on the site. He does work with her and other people from the BiggerPockets community to invest in real estate in other areas that are cheaper. So for him, the primary use, he used it for education, but he also used it for networking in incredible ways that I'm really impressed with the way that he used the site for that. So that's kind of his story with it. And then there's me. That's me and my beautiful wife there, Heather. We actually got started investing in real estate when we were 21 years old. Bought a house, fixed it up, and in the process realized that we loved real estate and thought we wanted to get into this. So I told everybody I knew, I was telling everyone, I'm going to be a real estate investor and forget law school. That's where I was headed, was law school. I'm like, forget that. I'm going to invest in real estate. And I told my parents that, and they thought I was crazy. My parents thought I was nuts. And they said, if you do that, you're going to lose everything. You're going to go bankrupt and you're going to be living on the street because your tenants won't pay rent. What are you going to do if they don't pay rent, Brandon? I'm like, I don't know. So I went online and I'm like, what to do when tenants don't pay rent? That's what I typed in. I came up with this little site that was brand new called BiggerPockets.com. And I realized that there were answers to all those questions and those negative comments that everyone has about what are you going to do if this happens. I realized there were answers to this, and that totally excited me. And I decided, I'm not going to go to law school. I'm going to do real estate. I'm going to figure out these answers. I'm going to succeed no matter what everyone else says. And that's what I did. And so, BiggerPockets was a huge lever that I used in my life to become, financially independent eventually through real estate. So I worked a number of jobs, a couple different ones throughout the process, quit a couple times. And then when I was 27, I bought an apartment complex, which the cash flow provided enough income that I didn't have to work anymore. And I was able to quit my job and just focus on managing the rentals. And so that was kind of a cool moment in my life. I was being able to do that. So let's go on. I'm going to tell you a couple more quick quotes from people that are on the site, kind of what BiggerPockets has done for them. Number one, Joel Owen said, I've closed deals by just being a part of BiggerPockets, and the income made from those connections had been substantial. Let's just say over 6 figures and counting. The key is not to ask for business, but just help people and be genuine and authentic in who you are, and people will gravitate to you naturally. I love that because it's just kind of a concise description of what BiggerPockets and that spirit of BiggerPockets is. It's that just be authentic and be genuine. We are not about the sales guy. You guys are probably used to that over the top sales guy, get rich quick in the, he's got the bikini babes in the back seat of his convertible and he's driving around telling you that you can be rich like him, or it's like that stuff is just ridiculous. And we don't like that. And we're trying to be down to earth. How many real estate sales guys, gurus, trainers would tell you this is hard. This is incredibly hard work. If you're looking for an easy, quick dollar, you probably should look elsewhere because real estate's not it. But we're just trying to be genuine and real here and help you actually succeed. Another couple of quotes from people. First one, James Vermillion said, fact, my business would not be where it is today without BiggerPockets. From small things like finding excellent paint colors for our flips to game changers like finding lenders for our projects, BiggerPockets has been instrumental in our early success. So that's kind of a cool little quote from him. Another one, Karen Margrave, a real estate developer from California, says, my website has seen a tremendous increase in traffic since I've been participating on BP. It's about building relationships and networking. I've been contacted by people from other countries that have seen my blog posts and come to my website through BP. So she's a developer, always looking for investors to invest with her. So she's attracting people to her website that she can just then build connections with and network with and get to fund her projects and work together because of her interactions on BP. One more, Bree Schmidt said, since becoming a BiggerPockets member, I've connected with enough local professionals and generated enough business to quit my day job and become a full-time real estate investor. And I love that story because Bree, she was on the podcast a while back as well, telling her story. And, she worked a job, but she quit her job right around the time of the podcast because she was doing so well with real estate investing. And I love that story. She used BiggerPockets to gain the knowledge and the networking and the, everything she needed to be able to become a successful investor. Just quick question for everyone here. I've got a couple polls, but I'm just going to go ahead and ask. Let's see. In the area, the question area and go to webinar control panel, I need you guys to do me a favor. Let me know, yes or no, just because I'm curious of what different people are. Let me know. Do you want to quit your job in the next, we'll say 5 years? Is your goal to quit your job in the next 5 years? Yes or no? I'm just curious. Again, are you guys super content with your job or not? So I'll give you guys about 10 seconds to do that. I'm going to go let my dog, as you can see in the corner there, I'm going to go let him out because he's, whining. So anyway. Do you want to quit your job in the next 5 years? Yes or no? You want to go out? Okay, go play. He may freak out in a minute, and when somebody knocks on our door and selling Girl Scout cookies or something, he'll bark. But he can get over that. Okay, so let's see. So do you want to quit your job? So the first one, John said yes. Aaron said yes. Anthony, yes. Ryan, yes. John, yes. Krista. Okay, so I haven't gotten any no's yet. That's a good thing. So yes with 3 exclamation marks. Nick said that. Let's see. There's a no. Okay, that's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. There's a no. Paul said no. Troy said Bo. I'm gonna guess he meant no. Okay, but let's see. There's about 50 yeses to every 1 no here, and a lot of exclamation marks. Wow, that's awesome. This is great. Pete said, mainly thanks to your site for all the information I got for free. LLC just set up and financed and ready to go. Going to New York City BP meetup. Awesome. Say hi to Darren Sager for me. He's one of the guys helping out with that, I think. So, yeah, okay. So I'm saying probably 50 to 1. Yes. And other people saying no. Somebody said already quit. Meg did. Nice. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So I would say, 50 to 1. We're going to say yes, going to quit your job. So let me tell you a couple things. First of all, you do not need to quit your job to be good at real estate. I'll say that. However, real estate is really convenient if you ever want to. It can be used to be able to get income, to be able to make income, to be able to quit your job. There's a whole webinar I did a while back called How to Quit Your Job Through the Power of Real Estate Investing. That was one of the more popular webinars I've ever done. I'll tell you guys later where you can find all the previous webinars if you want to check them out. But anyway, that was one of the most popular I did. I did an hour and a half on how to quit your job, the actual steps. So anyway, kind of a cool side topic there. I love this quote not quote, but comment that Miguel just said. Miguel said, nothing beats working from Hawaii. I agree. I need to work from Hawaii. I'm actually thinking about moving there, or at least getting a second house there just so I can, have my rentals here and manage them from over there somewhat. I don't know. I'm still working on that plan, but we'll see. Let's see. Somebody said they can't hear anything. I'm going to tell them to try restarting. All right. And Scott said it makes no sense to work a job unless you really like it that much. So that's where I'm about. So I feel like this. I feel like you do not need to quit your job, but I believe everybody should do what they love to do in life. And if what you love to do is take a nasty looking house and fix it up and make it beautiful and rent it out, you should do that. If your dream in life, if what makes you happy to get up in the morning is to teach high school math, then you should probably go teach high school math. But there's nothing to say you couldn't invest in real estate on the side. For me, my favorite things in life are real estate and BiggerPockets because I'm kind of obsessed with the site since it helped me so much. And so that's what I do now. I do real estate and I do BiggerPockets both. And it's just kind of a way to, I do what I want to do in life. And that's what real estate has given me. It's given me the freedom to do what I want, not because I have to go to some crappy job that I don't love. And so hopefully that's going to be the case for you guys. And then I think I have one more slide there. Okay, maybe not. Okay. So the one thing I will say right now is just in case anybody has not yet made a profile on BiggerPockets, you probably should. BiggerPockets.com/sign up. If you're not yet a member, if you found this webinar accidentally or somebody invited you, I just want to encourage you to sign up because, you can't get any of this cool BiggerPockets stuff without signing up. I mean, you can come to webinars, but that's about it. And then while we're waiting, not waiting, but before we get into the actual individual tools, I want to do a quick poll here. I'm going to ask, just so I know a little bit more how I should gear my talk, I'm going to ask, what kind of investing are you most interested in? So if you are on a computer right now and you can vote, or if on your phone, I'm not sure if you can vote if you're on your phone, but you should see a poll that popped up right in front of you. Go ahead and fill that poll out real quick right now and let me know, what kind of investing are you interested in? What kind of investing are you most interested in? So I'll give you guys about 10 more seconds to fill that out. What kind of investing are you most interested in? Just go ahead and vote there and let me know. Let's see. I'm going to wait another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. It's really easy. Just click a button and hit submit. I want to see everybody vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's see. How do I close this? All right. Close poll. All right, so out of the options were rental properties, house flipping, wholesaling, mortgages, and other. We've got 77% of people here are interested in primarily in rental properties, 59% primarily in house flipping, 35% in wholesaling, 12% in notes and mortgages, and 7% in other things. Okay, that's good to know. So a couple of things I'll say on that. I am more of a rental property investor than I am a flipper. And I'm not much of a wholesale. I do a little bit here and then, if I have to, but I'm generally a rental property investor and a house flipper. And so as such, I'm going to talk, a lot of my examples might have to do with rental properties, but keep in mind, I will try to also talk about house flipping and wholesaling and a little bit maybe on notes, mortgages. We'll see. I will say this though, next week I'm doing a webinar all on house flipping, on how to analyze a house flip deal. So if you want to come to that, you can sign up later. You can just sign up after this webinar, but it's at biggerpockets.com/webinar. You can sign up for next week's, or you can just go do it if you want to ignore me for the next 2 minutes. That's okay too. But anyway, next week is going to be how to analyze a house flip deal and not get burned. So it's going to be kind of fun. So, all right, let's move on and get to the individual tools you can actually use. But let's see. I like to ask this question. What are the main reasons you haven't had massive success from real estate yet? You don't have to actually type it in yet, but I wanted you to keep that in the back of your mind. Everybody has a reason that they think is holding them back from achieving massive success. And today we're going to talk about being a rock star investor. So what's holding you back from becoming a rock star investor? Is it funding? Is it finding deals? Is it lack of knowledge? Is it fear? Is it analysis paralysis? I mean, what is holding you back from achieving all those things that you want to have, that financial freedom? So just keep that in the back of your head. You don't have to type it in there if you don't want to, but just I want to know what's holding you back from that success. All right, let's see. My screen is doing something. There we go. Okay. Let's see. I can't read my screen very well. I got like one computer in front of the other one, but I'm not going to do it. Okay. So some of the ways that BiggerPockets can help you succeed to overcome some of those things. Number one is through education. We talked about that earlier. Number one, through education, we can help you learn how to invest in real estate. We'll talk about some ways to do that. Two, we can help you through networking. We can help you meet the people that are going to help you take your business to a new level, or to get started, or to achieve whatever it is you need. We're going to help you do the networking. And three, we're going to help you with the deal making side of that. Hopefully we can help you meet the people and understand how to put together a deal. Deal making is kind of the combination between information and networking. You put that together and you can get a deal. That's how you do deals. So now before we get to the actual like how to use certain parts, I want to talk about probably the most important thing you should know before engaging on BiggerPockets is the culture of BiggerPockets. Every culture is different in every country, in every company, on every website. There's a culture, and understanding BiggerPockets culture can be a little bit tough. So to summarize what our culture is like, we say just say no to the 5 S's. Just say no to the 5 S's. Now, there is a time and place for a few of these, and we'll talk about that. But generally speaking, this is the spirit of BP. Number one, no sales. We don't want you coming on BiggerPockets to sell your stuff. If you've got a book to sell, there may be a place, we'll talk about using the marketplace to sell those things, but we don't want you to come into a forum conversation and trying to sell your product to everybody. We want BiggerPockets to be a safe place that people can ask questions without being pitched to buy some $9.97 guru course. Number two, no sleaze. We want to be genuine. Don't be sleazy. Don't be weird. And if you see sleaziness and weirdness around the site, report it. Let us know. We're going to kick those people off the site. We don't want sleaziness. Number 3, no self-promotion. If somebody asks a question like, I don't know, they might say, hey, I'm thinking about buying this duplex, but I'm not sure if it's a good deal. What do you think? They put that in the forums, and you were to go in there and be like, I don't know, it's pretty good, but not as good as the deal that I just did. Here's that deal, and here's why I'm so awesome, and you should buy my stuff. Like, that's what people do, and I like punch them in the face, and then I tell them, kick them off BiggerPockets. I don't really punch them. I don't know them, but like I kick them off the site for doing that. So don't self-promote yourself all the time. This is about giving back. This is about community education, working together, being genuine. Don't be weird about it. No spam. Obviously, don't go and send the same message to 50 people. Hey, I want to connect with you because you're, whatever. And I don't know. It's weird. Be individual. Be personal. Don't spam people. And then no solicitation. Again, don't be private messaging people, asking them to buy your product or whatever. It's about networking, building relationships. Think of BiggerPockets as a gigantic room with 300,000 people just walking around. How would you react in that kind of situation? Would you start like holding up a sign, running around yelling at people? Would you go and like walk up to somebody you've never met before and be like, hey, you want to work with me on a deal? I want to work with me on a deal. You wouldn't do stuff like that. So why do people do it online? That's weird, right? It's about networking, build relationships. Some of my best friends on planet Earth are on BiggerPockets. Some of them I've never even met before. Some have traveled across the country just to meet. Like, there's solid relationships that you can build on BiggerPockets and then do business with in the future. And that's what we're all about, is about connecting people to do those things together. All right, so here's a few things that you can do. And those are all the negative don't do's. Be helpful. Number 1, be helpful. Offer help. Even if you're brand new, there's ways you can help. I mean, here's what I say at a minimum. When people come to the site, a lot of people leave a new member introduction on the site. They go to the forums and they leave a new member introduction. If that's you, you should probably leave one too. If you're new, if you've never left one, leave one tonight. But also, just go and respond to people. Welcome them to the community. If you're brand new, at least be helpful and say, hey, I'm glad you're here, John. Thanks for joining the site. That's just being helpful. Maybe point them to a good article you once read. Number 2, engage. It's hard to network when you're not engaging. I mean, somebody today just said this thing to me. They sent me an email and said, hey, I put up an ad in the marketplace, which we'll talk about. I put up an ad in the marketplace offering free help to an experienced investor. I wanted to help somebody so I can learn the tricks. And somebody contacted me, but I looked on their profile and they don't have a profile filled out and they never engaged in the site. I don't feel comfortable working with them. And this person, had they been engaged on the site, they could have gotten free help from somebody, but now it was a little weird. So just keep that in mind. Engage, very important, and ask questions. If you're new, if you're experienced, whatever, ask questions on the forums. Get other people's feedback. I ask questions a lot. Whenever I'm stuck on something, I ask a question on the forums, and there's people 100 times smarter than me on there that are willing to help me out and help me to learn. And then provide value. In everything you do, try to provide value. Try to help people. Try to be a good person on BiggerPockets. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to do some screen sharing stuff here and show you my screen so you can kind of walk through some of these tools. Number 1, we mentioned this earlier, but BiggerPockets is a real estate social network. So let me go ahead and switch what screen you're all seeing. Let's see if I did this right. How do I do this? Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. So, this is the social network. This is kind of the head of the social network. This is where you're going to start. This is like home base for using BiggerPockets to become a Rockstar investor. This is where you're going to always land on when you first go on the site. If you're logged in, you're going to head to your dashboard. From here, you can navigate to a lot of things. You can find the sources of information you need. You can go to the forums. You can see your stats. All these things are here on your profile. So a couple of just things I'll point out to you real quick. Down below here, you've got your forum activity. Your forum activity, you've also got my connections, and you've got follow discussions. In other words, you can click on those things and I can follow all the discussions that I've been a part of in follow discussions. I can see just all forum activity if I click on forum activity, everything that's going on there. Or I can click on my connections and I can see what people that I'm connected with. I mean, these are people that I've connected with. I can see what they're up to. And see what kind of conversations they're getting into, who they're connecting with, what forum conversations when they're leaving a comment on a blog post, stuff like that. I can see that there. From here, also, you can edit your profile if you want to. You can go to hover. This little nav bar here is helpful, but under profile options, I can go to profile and settings, and you can do a bunch of stuff in here. So profile picture, contact, company, experience, signature options, mentions, all this stuff. Make sure this is filled out. This is a social network. You really should have it filled out as much as possible. Try to fill it out with as much information as possible. Also, if you are a pro member of BiggerPockets, you can add a video. For those people who are pro members watching right now, I highly, highly recommend adding a video to your BiggerPockets profile. What that does is, let me go to my profile and I'll show you. It helps you build trust. So somebody comes to my profile to check out who I am. They don't know who I am. I could be one of a million people, right? Like, they don't know exactly who I am. And so they go to my profile and they see my video and they can play it and they can learn a little bit about me and I can talk and they can see that I'm real. And it just builds trust and authenticity in a way that nothing else really can. Video is just really remarkable for that. So I highly recommend that as part of this social network. Make sure you do that. Let's see. So somebody asked, is there a way to change your name on BiggerPockets? The easiest way to do it right now is this email, support@biggerpockets.com. Support@biggerpockets.com. You can email them and they can help you change your name if needed. You can also hide your name. If you want to hide your name, you can do that as well. Let me show you how. I'll go back to my dashboard, clicking that little house guy up there in the corner. I go to profile options, profile and settings. Now, hiding your last name, it might make, people you want to work with, it might make it a little harder to build trust and credibility if you're not willing to share your last name. But if you're worried about your tenant finding out about you, like asking about them on the forums, you can hide your last name if you're really concerned about privacy. Anyway, to do that, again, you go into that profile and settings, and then down here under privacy, click on privacy, and just right there, there's a checkbox that says hide my last name. And then it says if checked, your name will be displayed as Brandon T. So anyway, keep that in mind if you want to do that. So that's kind of the social network. One more aspect of it is the inbox. I actually have 13 messages because I get like 50 messages a day. Today was actually pretty light. So 13 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 8 hours ago, and 5 hours ago. Those are the ones I've not read yet. So I still need to get in there and read them. Maybe somebody is on this webinar right now that I have not responded to. Sorry. I try to do as much of that as I can at night just because I'm so slammed during the day with everything else. I'm in the middle of a project right now. If you've been on previous webinars, you probably heard about my projects that I've been working on. So anyway, make sure, use the social network, engage with people, build relationships, talk to them. We actually also have a chat feature on BiggerPockets, but it is under maintenance right now. So we actually released it like 2 weeks ago and it was out for like a week and then we took it away because it was doing some funky things on the back end and making the site run really slow. So we'll have that back out hopefully in another week or so. But if I wanted to send like a chat and chat with somebody individually, like me and Tyler here could chat individually back and forth. Very cool feature. So, all right, let's move on and talk about the next aspect I wanted to talk to you guys about is the forums. The forums are probably one of the best ways to gain education because it helps you get direct answers. Like look behind me if you can see my camera. I've got a lot of books back there. I've got a lot of books back here. However, all those books, they give me good information on real estate. I've got a bunch of them over here and a bunch of them up here and a bunch more over there. They all have good information, but tell me which book out of all those is going to give me the answer to this question. My tenant was smoking on her back porch and she lit some boxes on fire and then it burned part of the building, but then she blamed another tenant and said that it must have been them, even though that they weren't living there at the time. And she refuses to pay it, and now she's threatening to take me to court. What do I do? Name one book in there that's going to explain that one, because that's what happened to me. Those situations come up all the time when you're investing in real estate. Just absurd, crazy things that you could never predict. And you can't get the answers in a book. And so as much as I love books and I love reading, the BiggerPockets forums are like a 3D book. You can go and ask that question. And like I did, I went and asked that question. And I got a bunch of responses of people saying, here's what I would do, here's what I would do. And I got some really good advice. Later on, I had another tenant break a window. Well, it was an ex-girlfriend that was disgruntled ex-girlfriend broke a window of his. I didn't know what to do. Do I bill a tenant? It wasn't his fault, but it was kind of his fault because it's his ex-girlfriend. So like, who do I bill? What do I do? I wasn't really sure. So anyway, I posted that and I got a good answer there. So and that's what BiggerPockets is about asking advice on these things. So if you have any questions in real estate whatsoever, even if you think they're just stupid, I bet you one of two things. You can find them on the forums. Somebody's already talked about it, or you can ask it and somebody will help you out and answer it. And if you ask a question in the forums, I mean, our forums are very popular. They're one of the more popular forums on the entire internet for any industry. They're very, very popular. But if you don't get an answer, try asking again later. It's not, I don't know. Don't feel bad. I mean, again, there's dozens of posts there's like 1,500 or 2,000 every day now. So, I mean, they go by every minute. There's like a new post. And so they go quickly through. So if somebody doesn't see your post, it's okay. Just ask it again later. And you might get a better response the second time around. So with that, let's go on. That's kind of the BiggerPockets forums. Maybe I should show you one more thing on the forums first. So this is the forums. To start a discussion, just click start a discussion. Pretty simple like that. Now I have a few options down here that you won't have because I'm a moderator, so ignore that. But you can go ahead and type your thing here, pick a forum. Which one do you think fits best? If you have a question about starting out, put it in the starting out forum. If you have a question about landlording, put it in the landlord forum. I mean, the forums are there to help you and to help people find it. So certain people are subscribed to a certain forum. Like, I want to know all about this one forum. You can subscribe to an entire forum, and as such, then you can, and let me show you how to do that. And then you can know only about topics that come up there. So if you have a question about a tenant, put it in the landlord forum, because then everybody who's subscribed to the landlord forum is going to see it. And that's where it's really powerful. To get that, just go to forum categories up here in your nav bar, and then just click the buttons you want to subscribe to. Like, I'm subscribed to questions about BiggerPockets and official site announcements because I want to know about anything that happens there. So you can click. I'm also subscribed to real estate deal analysis and advice because I want to know anything there. I'm subscribed to starting out because I want to know anything there. And so anyway, I just recommend make sure you do that. It definitely help you out there. Let's see. What else is there on the forums I should show you? Yeah, it's probably all for now. There's one thing I should probably show you guys if you're interested. At mention system. This is just kind of a cool way. If you want to mention somebody, if you're colleagues with somebody, you can at mention them. So if to at mention somebody, you just start typing and you say like, hey, and then I'm going to hit the at sign and type in their last name. That usually works best. And then you wait a second and it pops up underneath and you click it. And if it turns blue, then you know that they're going to get tagged. Now, if you tag somebody like that, if you tag anybody, they're going to get an email saying, hey, you just mentioned them. Or they're going to get a notification that says, hey, you just mentioned them. So go ahead and tag people. If you want somebody to answer a question, if you're colleagues with them, tag them. You can also tag anybody that's been in the thread already. That's kind of a cool feature. So let's say you're in this thread right here on we're hiring BiggerPockets is looking for an amazing content creator. Maybe that's true. I mean, maybe you're in there, you're wanting to, yeah, we are, by the way, if you're an amazing content creator, we're hiring for somebody full-time job. So let's say you wanted to contact somebody that's already in this thread and you're not colleagues with them. Well, you still can. And the best way to do that actually is hit the @ sign followed by a question mark. And then everybody who's already posted in that thread will pop up. And you can just click their name. Like here, I'm going to click on Mark's here. Boom. I can do it again. @ sign, question mark. Let's go Joe. And then @ sign, question mark. I can do it again. So it's just kind of cool. And then those people all get notified. So that's just kind of a cool feature. Let's go on to the next thing I want to show you. Keyword alerts. Keyword alerts are incredibly powerful for helping you connect with people in your area. That's their best use is connecting with people in your area. Now, a keyword alert is a word you put in or a phrase that every time it's mentioned on the forums, you get a notification about it. Now, why is this popular and why is this powerful? Because let's say somebody mentions the word Aberdeen, anywhere on the site, Aberdeen. That's the town I invest in. I invest in the town of Aberdeen. So I've got a keyword alert set for Aberdeen. So if anybody mentions it, boom, I'm in there. I'm in that conversation because I want to know who's talking about my town. I want to know who they are, what do they want, and I want to build a relationship with them. I want to network with them. Maybe we'll go out to coffee. Maybe they're selling a deal. Maybe they're putting a deal in the marketplace, and I want to be the first one to know about that deal. That's what keyword alerts are. So to do that, to do your keyword alert stuff, just go up to BiggerPockets.com/alerts is the easiest way to get there. That's alerts plural, ALERTS. And here we go, keyword alerts. So you can see a few of mine. I got Aberdeen, I got Ask BP, I got Brandon Turner, I got Calcs Calculators, Grace Harbor, Hoquiam, Olympia. Oh, I don't have an Aberdeen in there anymore? I should probably add it. Let me show you how to add that. So I've got Hoquiam, which actually Hoquiam is where I actually invest, but Aberdeen's the bigger town. All you do is just type primary keyword Aberdeen. Now watch this though. There's an Aberdeen, South Dakota. I don't want Aberdeen, South Dakota. So I'm going to go Aberdeen and excluding the keywords Dakota. So if the word Aberdeen is mentioned and the word Dakota is also mentioned, then it won't alert me. I'm also going to include, instead of Dakota, I'm also going to include if the word Maryland is included, because there's an Aberdeen, Maryland as well. Save alert. Oh, I already have an alert set up for those keywords? Do I not see them? Oh, sheesh. You guys should probably tell me that. I didn't even see it. Aberdeen's the first one. Okay, well, I did already set that up. You guys are probably laughing at me right now. Or whatever. Ignore me. All right, so that's how you set it up, though. The example, you can exclude certain keywords you don't want to be notified about. So if somebody mentioned Aberdeen in South Dakota, don't worry about it. Whatever. Very, very, very useful. Again, here's another reason why that's so useful. If you set it up for all the local city names in your area, anything within like 100 miles, set up as many as you can. You can do 5 if you're a free member, 20 if you're a pro member. Set those up, and if there's a local meetup of investors, they're going to advertise it on the site, and then you'll get to find out about it. We did a meetup last week up in Seattle. So those people who are in Seattle, maybe you were there, maybe not. Probably didn't have keyword alert set though. So if you were there, we did a meetup in Lakewood, and we had 40 people show up. 40 people from BiggerPockets, and we talked, we networked, partnerships were formed at the table. A ton of people learned a lot of stuff. I mean, it was a really, really good time. We had a blast. Ate some really good food at the Ram. I mean, it was just really, really fun. And it was just a local meetup of BiggerPockets people hanging out. And there are 300,000 BiggerPockets members right now. Almost. It's like 285 or something. Like, there's people in your area, trust me. And they're probably hanging out without you. So the best way to find out, keyword alert, set it up for your city name, keep track of all that stuff. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the BiggerPockets blog real quickly, because most of you have probably read the blog, so I don't need to spend a lot of time on it. Best way to get there on the Learn category, just go down to BiggerPockets blog. The BiggerPockets blog is where people write articles that you can read and learn from. I love the blog. I love reading articles. I love writing articles. I write a lot of stuff on the blog because I really enjoy it. So you just go to biggerpockets.com/blog. You can read all about it. I mean, here's the first article, the newest article, the second newest, third newest, fourth newest, and then down below you can see all the rest of them. So anyway, with the blog, you can find all sorts of stuff. You can also get in touch with the podcast, which I'll talk about in just a second. But pretty much that's the blog. If you want to look for just a certain topic on the blog, we got this nav bar right here. Home, starting out, landlording, house flipping, wholesaling, whatever else you're interested in, you can look it up right here. Very, very cool. I mentioned earlier that we started a new podcast. It just came out this week. You guys are the first webinar to know about it. It's called the Ask BP podcast, and it's going to be at biggerpockets.com/askbp. But probably like my favorite project I've worked on in a long time. It's a daily podcast. Each show is about 10 minutes long, give or take a little bit. It's going to be on video and on iTunes on your iPhone. If you guys could actually everybody here, could you guys all do me a gigantic, huge favor? If you have an iPhone, could you do me a huge favor? Or even if you don't have an iPhone, if you have iTunes on your computer, could you guys subscribe to that podcast for me and leave me a rating and review if you like it? Listen to a couple episodes. If you like it, leave me a rating and review. They're short. They're 5-10 minutes long. But subscriptions, I need a whole bunch this first launch week. And so you guys can help me out by doing that. So that's my pitch to you tonight. Can you help me out there? So anyway, today's was on how setting goals can change your real estate investing life. I highly recommend that one. There's my video of me looking funny. But you can listen to me, you can watch it, whatever you want. So I highly recommend that podcast. We had another podcast as well. If you click on podcast, you go to the BiggerPockets podcast. So the BiggerPockets podcast is one that me and Josh do together every week. Josh is the CEO of BiggerPockets, and we do it every week. We interview people. Every week there's a new person. So this week was Graham Mink. It was an amazing episode, one of my all-time favorites. It was really, really good. Pro athlete turned real estate investor. Excellent, excellent show. We did one with Himanshu. That was awesome as well. David Allen, author of Getting Things Done. Terrific show. We got Nasser. I always say his name wrong. Sorry, Nasser. Jeff Greenberg, Scott Sutherland, all these things. I mean, the podcast, for those people who don't listen to it, you're missing out. I mean, I really believe, I'm not just saying that because I'm on it. I really believe the podcast is one of the best educational things ever to happen to humankind. Podcasts are. I mean, they're just so fantastic to listen to every week, just a fresh, original content from people. And if you're into real estate, you'll love the podcast. I love it. I learn so much from our guests. Every week I learn something new. I used an analogy the other day about the more tips you pick up as a real estate investor, it's like tools, right? So like the more tools you have, the more projects you can do. When you're really good at a lot of things, when you have a lot of tools, you can do a lot of activities. And listening to the podcast is the single greatest way to sharpen your tools. I'll say that again. Listening to the podcast is the single greatest way to sharpen your tools. So I highly recommend doing that. Both podcasts should help quite a bit with that. They're just, so subscribe, find them in iTunes, whatever, but they can really help you, I think. So, all right, let's move on and talk about BiggerPockets Meet. We talked about connecting with people means so much. When you're trying to become a successful real estate investor, you cannot do it on your own. You have to network. You have to connect. If you're one of those shy people who don't want to talk to anybody ever, you're going to have a hard time in this industry. But if you're willing to just step outside your comfort zone and connect with people, BiggerPockets can help with that. And the way I want to do that is up in this network tab on Find Members. In Meet BiggerPockets members in this area, you can actually search for anybody in your local area. Right here, first off, if you're logged in, it'll show you just local people. So I can see some local people in my area, including, I think I saw, let's see, there's my wife right there. She's so cute. And there's my assistant, Logan, who's awesome. And then a bunch of other people from my area. I can actually connect with these people. And I didn't know Kate Bell. I'm going to have to reach out to Kate because I don't know Kate. But she's from Elma. That's like 10 miles from my house, which is awesome. I can also search members. Now, if you're a free member on BiggerPockets, you can search just in your zip code. But if you're a pro member, you can search anywhere. So I'm going to search around me. I'm going to go within a 50-mile radius, and I'm going to find anybody whose occupation is a real estate agent. Let's actually go 100 miles because I'm going to include Olympia and Tacoma in that. So I can do this search, and I can find people. So I can find Gary is a real estate agent. He's listed as one. Joe, Tim, Randy. I can connect with these people if I wanted to who are agents. If I want to clear that, let's say I want to edit this. Oh, I can also sort them. That's cool too. So anyway, that's BiggerPockets Meet. Very, very powerful tool. If you want to use that, again, if you're a free member, you can use it. If you're a pro member, you can use it to search anywhere. Let's say you want to find a wholesaler down in Texas, or you want to find an agent to investigate a property out in Savannah, Georgia. Wherever you need, if you're, use BiggerPockets Meet. It's such a powerful, powerful tool. You can also sort by active, sort by if they're a pro member or not. You can sort by all those cool things. So definitely keep that in mind. If you are a real estate agent, or if you are anything at all that you're looking for people to find you, make sure you've set your profile up as well as possible so people can find you. Put all the city names that you work in. Make sure you have your zip code entered in. Let me tell you an interesting story. Melissa, just the other day, she's our director of growth at BiggerPockets. She is looking for a real estate agent because she's trying to buy a house to flip. And so she went on BiggerPockets.com/meet. She pulled up everybody that was there, and she looked for two things. She looked for people who were pro members and people who had pictures attached to their thing. Then she took in her area that were agents. Then she to look at each of their profile, read it, looked for a video, and if they didn't have one, it's she still contacted them, but she contacted all the people that were like professionals on there. And then she found one and ended up working with them, or she's working with them right now. And so like that is the power of that search thing. So not just for searching, but for other people to find you. You never know what somebody might need your help for, what your skills are. So fill out your profile well, and people can find you on BiggerPockets Meet. All right, moving on. I want to show you the file place. This is a very, very cool thing on the site. Let's see. Let's see. Somebody said they can't find the Ask BP podcast on the iPhone podcast. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I just searched for, so one word, Ask BP. Let's see if that comes up. Yeah, so this is what I did anyway. I don't know if you can see my screen or not. Let me see. But that's what I did. I searched for it, and two of them come up when I typed in Ask BP. BiggerPockets does, and Ask BP does. Anyway, and that's the Ask BP one. So make sure you subscribe to it. Yeah, it worked for me, so I'm not sure why you're not finding it. But if you're having problems, try again maybe later today. But so cool. Okay, let's move on. Kyle said he did find it, so that's good. So it is there at least. Put it in as one word. Somebody said they tried. Yeah, put it in as one word. Somebody else said they searched for Brandon Turner. Interesting. And Tristan just subscribed. Thank you so much. Rudy, you guys rock. Thank you so much. Just to interrupt real quick, Tom asked when's there going to be a BP app for Android. I hope that's coming. We're trying to hire a developer right now to build it. So hopefully that'll come this summer. That said, the entire BiggerPockets is now mobile optimized. So if you go to BiggerPockets, everything is, let me see if it works and I'll show you. Yeah, everything's like mobile friendly now. And so you can do stuff on BiggerPockets just on your, no matter what phone you have. Everything should be, including the calculators, which I'm going to get to in a second. But let's go back to, I'm going to talk to you about a couple more cool things to get some resources to help you achieve better stuff with real estate and become more successful. And that I'm going to show you is the, if I can find it, the file place. There it is. Under resources, go to the file place. The file place is fantastic for finding ebooks or analysis spreadsheets or I don't know, like marketing stuff. There's a wholesale purchase agreement in there, waterfall model, private equity, wholesale purchase and sale contract, FHA home inspection checklist, get your banker to say yes document, renovation cost breakdown. I mean, all this cool stuff. There's hundreds of files in here. There's like 300 or something like that in there. And there's new ones being added all the time. So I recommend actually, if you've got files that are not copyrighted, upload them here. If you need files, download them from here. I mean, this is a place for BiggerPockets members to share their files with other people. It's part of just the community aspect of BiggerPockets, how we believe in community education. So if you've got stuff, share it. This is also where you can download stuff like the Ultimate Beginner's Guide. You can download the book Real Estate Rewind, which is that community written book that was actually members of our community wrote it. Each wrote one chapter, a bunch of different people, and it's really good. It's answering the question, if you could go back in time and do it all over again, what would you do to build up your portfolio? And like 10 or 11 different people answered that question. Fantastic book. I recommend it. So that's the file place. You can get there by biggerpockets.com/files, or it's under the resource tab. Next, I want to talk about perks. This is if you want to save some money in your life as a BiggerPockets member, you can. Let's see, to get there, I think we're just going to go biggerpockets.com/perks. Actually, don't know if it's even a drop-down menu. I need to make sure that it is. I'm going to write that down. Perks. All right, so in BiggerPockets perks, isn't it about time someone did something nice for you? I think so. So BiggerPockets perks, you can get discounts on stuff that you use in your investing that will help you become a better investor. For example, if you are a landlord and you're going to screen tenants, just by being a member of BP, you can save $5 using TransUnion Smart Move. Just go here and click save $5 and you'll get it. If you're a pro member, you get a bunch more cool perks as well. But just everybody can get it with the regular ones. But yeah, if you're a pro member, you get a whole bunch more perks. So those people who are pro members right now, just keep that in mind, that you should be probably checking up on this thing every couple of days just to make sure that you're not missing anything awesome. So, all right, so that's perks. Let's go on to my absolutely favorite, probably the best thing to make you a rockstar investor. I do entire webinars just on this subject, and that is the subject of the calculators, the BiggerPockets property analysis calculators. The best way to go there is either up there, analyze, or I'm going to type in analysis. Oops, I spelled that totally wrong. Analysis. There we go. All right, so biggerpockets.com/analysis. You might see a different picture there. Don't worry about it. We got a lot of pictures rotating in there. But the idea of this is these are software like calculators designed to help you become a better investor. They're designed to help you learn how to analyze deals so you don't make mistakes that are easy to make when you're using pencil or paper or trying to use a spreadsheet. That's what they're designed for, to help you walk through. Whether you're super advanced and you've been doing this for years, or whether you're brand new, I really think these tools are super powerful. So let me just kind of walk you through. There's a couple of videos here. You can kind of see how they work. You can learn more about it by going to biggerpockets.com/analysis, or just go test it out. Try it out today. I mean, let's go to rental property calculator. And then you can watch the video if you want to, or I'm going to show you what some of my previous reports. Let me show you one that I did. Let's go with this one. This is, all right, this is the property I just bought actually, and I'm doing a BRRRR strategy. I walked through this entire property step-by-step, kind of what my plan is on it. I did it on the last webinar last week, so I'll tell you in a minute where you can get those, but I highly recommend watching all the old webinars if you can, all the ones that I've recorded. I think you'll learn a ton. But anyway, let me just kind of walk you through this. This is what the results page looked like. So before we get here, let me go and edit the report and show you kind of how they look. Basically, you just walk through the calculator, doing each step one at a time. Title, address, city, state, zip, taxes, whatever else you need to. And if you have any questions about something, just hover over that little question mark. Just hover over it, and it says kind of what it is, like how much of the annual whole year property tax for the property. If unsure, this information is typically publicly available on your county assessor's website. So anything you're not sure about, you can find out. So not only is these tools helpful for analyzing deals, they're helpful for teaching you how to use them and for how to analyze properties. So anyway, you plug in all the numbers here, plug in everything, just walk step by step through it. If you have any questions, you got the answers right there with the question marks. All the way through it. There's only 3 pages of each. And then you come to the results page. It takes a little second of boop, 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 boop. You can upload photos. You can do all that stuff. And then here we can see what the actual deal would be. So for this deal, this is a long story on what this deal actually is, but I'm looking at a 29.23% return on my investment. That's awesome. I mean, I'm only looking at $50 a month cash flow, but I'm going to have $50,000 of equity in this property once I finish fixing it up. And then it's going to be a rental property for me that I'll make amazing equity on someday and a good return on investment right now. So that's what the calculators are super, super, super powerful for that. And perhaps the best part of them is if you are a pro member, you can make these PDF reports, which are kind of cool. Let me show you that. It takes a second to generate the PDF report every time because it uses a lot of information. But while that's going, the other nice thing about this, if you're not sure about a deal, if you're unsure, if you're nervous about the numbers, if you're scared of making that first investment, I mean, how many people have analysis paralysis? You know how to do it. You just haven't taken that step. What these can do is help you say, yes, that's a good deal. And that is why I use the calculators. I mean, people sometimes say, like Ben Leibovich gives me a hard time because he says, what do you need those calculators for? You could do it in your head. First of all, I can't do it in my head. But second of all, I use them because it gives me the confidence to know that I didn't forget something because it's all here. And so, I mean, imagine this. Imagine you bought a rental property or you bought a flip and you forgot one number. You forgot closing costs. Just slipped your mind for some reason. But the closing costs were $6,000. That could throw off your entire investment plan for the entire thing. Or let's say you forgot, I don't know, one of the rehab budget items or something like that. If you forget these things, it can make a drastic change. You might end up buying a terrible property. About a month ago, somebody mentioned here on the webinar that I was doing, I was talking about this deal. They said, hey, Brandon, you just totally saved me from making a massive mistake. I ran my numbers that I'm buying on a property and I realized I forgot something. And when I ran into the calculator, the numbers were different. So when I investigated why they were different, it's because I had forgotten to include something. Thank goodness for the calculators. And so these are real life things. And so that's why I encourage everyone to use it. If you are a free member on BiggerPockets, you can get it up to like 3 uses for free. So test it out, try it out, see what you think. If you are a pro member, you get unlimited usage. And then lastly, of this, the PDF reports, I highly encourage people to use these. What the PDF reports are good for is showing your lender, showing your partner, showing your spouse, maybe a private lender, maybe a bank, whatever. If you need to show somebody how strong of a deal something is, use these reports. And that is exactly what I do with them. I print out these PDF reports or I'll save them to my computer and email them to people because they show exactly the deal. I mean, they show everything the person could care about. Monthly income, monthly expenses, monthly cash flow, pro forma cap rate, purchase cap rate, cash and cash return, total cash needed, NOI, and then all the information, including charts and graphs. I mean, if this doesn't scream, I know what I'm doing to a partner, to a lender, to a spouse, nothing else will. I mean, this shows that you know what you're doing, that you're taking this seriously, that you've analyzed the deal, and they can go through. These were designed to help lenders be able to look at your numbers and say, yeah, actually, it looks like this is a good deal. And this also will help you make better decisions. I mean, how much does it cost you if you make one bad deal? If you end up losing 10, 20, 30 grand on a flip, or you end up losing $200 a month for the next 10 years on a rental property because you didn't analyze it right, how much does that cost you? So again, if you are a pro member, use this software. I mean, I use it almost every single day. So I recommend you doing the same. It really can save your butt and make you not buy a really bad deal. I have a whole long story I could tell on a deal I bought once. I won't go into it because we're getting long anyway right now. But I mean, I once bought real quickly, I once bought a duplex, turned it into a single family house, spent 2 years of my life on it, a year working on it, a year holding it, and I lost 10 grand. End of the day, I lost 10 grand. Had I ran it through the calculator, I would have realized that it would have made a better rental property than a flip. And I would have been probably receiving about $1,000 a month in cash flow right now. Instead, I lost 2 years of my life and about 10 grand. So again, I'm a diehard believer in this. I think people should use it all the time. If you are a pro member, you should probably be using it. So let's see. Let's move on. And okay, somebody asked a question. Can you use the calculators in Canada? So yes, you can. The only thing that I'm not sure about with Canadian is I don't know how you guys amortize loans. So that means I don't know how, like, we have a 30-year amortized. It might be a little bit different there. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, just be very careful with that. I don't know exactly. There's probably ways to make it work, like, backwards ways to make it work. But these calculate based on the American way of amortizing. If that's different, you might, yeah. So let's see. Oh, thank you. Stephanie said, okay, that calculator report is awesome. I agree. I'm a huge fan. Justin said 25 years max in Canada. So if as long as the calculation, the formula is the same, the number of years, you can put whatever you want in the calculator. So it should work just fine for Canada. I see no reason why not. It can work for multifamily properties, single family properties, commercial properties. It can pretty much work for whatever you want to put in there. And again, it will help you kind of understand what's going on. And that's how we designed this last page too, is you can walk down this page. I guess you can't really see my finger moving down the page, but you can like walk down this and, kind of to help you understand how do we come to these numbers. And again, if you have questions about this, you can always post in the forums, and other people who use the calculator all the time can help chime in and help you out. So, all right, let's move on. Let's see. Let's move on. And by the way, we are going to do question and answer time in just a few minutes. I wanted to cover a couple more things. Sorry I'm going so long today. Usually this one's a little bit shorter, but all right. So I'm going to show you the marketplace real quick. The marketplace is where people buy and sell deals. If you've got a deal you want to sell, put it in the marketplace. If you've got a deal you want to buy, put it in the marketplace. If you want to know more about the marketplace, just go to the marketplace, biggerpockets.com/marketplace, and watch the video here. There's a little video of me talking. You can learn more about the site there. And then just, post a deal. Look at this one, like somebody pocket listing, triplex in West Hollywood, 7 minutes ago. So if you're looking for that, Philadelphia turnkey triplex, new rehab, $150,000. Cleveland, Ohio, 13.29% cash on cash return. Inglewood, house for sale by owner. Why corporate housing is so profitable. Now you can also, not just deals, people can advertise. If you've got if you're like have a seminar, if you've got a meetup you want to advertise, if you've got something else, you can always put it in there as well. The marketplace can be used for more than just deals. So keep that in mind. If you're a lender, you can post your lenders in there, like this one. No credit, no income, no doc, hard money available up to $300,000. If you are looking for a loan, you can post, hey, what's the best bank in my area? We don't allow loan requests because they just invite solicitations, but in the marketplace you can. That's the purpose of it. So if you're looking for a good loan, why not post in there? And here's a cool tip. Post in the marketplace, hey, I'm looking for a good portfolio lender in Seattle, Tacoma, or Olympia. Guess what that's going to do? It's going to trigger the keyword alert of everybody who's got Seattle, Tacoma, or Olympia. And so if I saw that and I've got a keyword alert set for Olympia, guess what? I'm going to offer my advice. I'm going to say, yeah, try Timberland Bank or Bank of the Pacific. They're both good portfolio lenders out here. Boom. That person who didn't have any financing all of a sudden now has a good 2 portfolio lenders, and it takes them 2 minutes. Now, if they were able to close 5 more deals this year, how much is that worth to them? Probably quite a bit. So moving on, let's see. I think I got a couple more quick things to show you. First of all, if you want to, let's see, books. BiggerPockets actually sells numerous books. I don't know if you knew that. So where do we go? BiggerPockets.com/store. Or you can just go under learn, and there's 2 of them. There's one that I wrote, the book on investing in real estate with no and low money down. So this is that book kind of landing page. This book is my story. I mean, it's partially my story. It's all about how I got started investing in real estate without any money, with creativity. I'm really, really passionate about this book. And I do want to say, if you guys have not read it yet, I'm not just saying this because I sell a book, but if you've not read it, I really think you should. So even if you're going to go borrow it from your neighbor, like whatever you got to do, read this book. It will help you do more deals. I really firmly believe that. If you're trying to do 5 deals in the next year, I believe this will help you do 10. And for $20 or whatever, well, the book's like $49, $79, something like that. But you can get just a PDF version for $20. Pick it up. It's cheap, and you'll probably do more deals. Let's see. All right. So the books, there's also, oh yeah, Jay Scott's book. I got to mention his book. His is awesome. The book on flipping houses. Also, if you go under learn right there, the book on flipping houses. Oops. There we go. Book on flipping houses and the book on estimating rehab costs. Whoa. And that page is looking funky. Let's try reloading that. Okay. Something went funky on that page. Okay. Don't go to that page yet. I'll get the developers to fix that tonight. But trust me, those are really good books. You should probably check them out. Let's move on since that one doesn't really work well. I'm going to switch back over to the other screen real quick. Oh, both screens. Fancy. Let's go screen 2. All right, so I mentioned a couple times here today, BiggerPockets Pro, and I like to on webinars, I like to offer just a little description of what that is and why you might want to use it. I'm not saying Pro is for everybody, but before I do the question and answer, I should at least let you know, is Pro right for you? So a couple things about Pro. BiggerPockets Pro can help you make smarter decisions with access to the rental property calculator, house flipping calculator, and the wholesaling calculator. Again, as a free member, you can only use it 3 times, but as a pro member, man, it's so nice to be able to use that all you want, print out as many reports as you want, completely unlimited as a pro member. It also helps you you can meet potential partners, investors, mentors with unlimited networking on biggerpockets.com/meet. We talked about that earlier. Very, very powerful. It gives you, let's see what I say. You can save money on the tools you need at biggerpockets.com/perks. Again, we talked about that. You can get discounts on things like My Smart Move or Pay Near Me or all those cool things. You can get a website. There's a Danny Johnson at Lead Propeller has a big, huge, massive discount on there. Same with Wix discount. Anyway, you can post your needs, wants, or haves, whatever you need, whatever you have, whatever you think you need to get to the next level in your business, post it in the marketplace. What are you lacking? Post it in the marketplace. Again, my goal is to help you become more successful, and these are tools to help you become a rockstar investor. You can show the world that you were serious. Now, this is important, and I think this is underplayed, but this is really important. Show the world you're serious about taking action with an enhanced form signature and the pro badge. Now, basically, when you become a pro member, you get a little badge under your name, and I'm going to actually show you what I'm talking about. Let's go back over to the main screen. And it just helps you stand out as somebody who's maybe a little bit more serious. And because pro membership is not cheap, it's not $2. And so it says, hey, I'm not here for just the week. I'm not here for the month. I'm here for good. I'm here to be a real estate investor for good. And it makes you a little bit more serious taken, I think, at least. So anyway, what it looks like is there's my little pro badge next to my name. Everywhere I post has a little pro badge. And at the bottom, I've got this big old form signature. Every time you post, you get your company logo, you get your website link, you get a little information all about you. So again, there's a pro membership there. Ben's a pro, Kim, Bill Gully, I got to tuck him to it, Serge. So Brian Gibbons, and there's Brian. See, he's got his book there. He's got his website. He's got his pro membership. So anyway, keep that in mind. Those are all cool things you can get and just show the world that you're a little bit more serious. Again, I mentioned earlier just how when people are searching in biggerpockets.com/meet, the pro members show up first. And so if you want people to connect with you, if maybe you're not so outgoing, you want people to find you, that pro badge will help you do that as well. All right, moving on. You can get notified about things that you care about and will help you with more keyword alerts. We talked about keyword alerts earlier. You get 5 if you're a free member. You get 20 if you're a pro member. You get unlimited files and documents download. You can download unlimited files and documents in the file place. Otherwise, you're limited to, I think, 3 a week. So you can get unlimited files and downloads. And then, honestly, you just help support the mission of BiggerPockets. I mean, that's a lot of people just upgrade to BiggerPockets Pro, and they're like, well, I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to use it yet. But I just like what BiggerPockets is doing. I know that gives back to the site, helps us create more tools and more podcasts and more videos and more webinars to help people. So that's another reason that you might be interested in. One more thing I want to show you though, before we get to that, I got actually a discount code for those people who do want to upgrade, but I want to show you one more thing. And this is something not a lot of people know about, but I mentioned this earlier, how I record most of these webinars. Let's see, biggerpockets.com/pro replay. So everybody who's a pro member, listen up very, very closely here, because you should be taking advantage of this. The pro replay room, or the pro only webinar replay room. So all these webinars that I record, if I'm able to record them, we can save them for the day that they come out. And they're live for a week or 5 days afterwards. But afterwards, you can't watch the replays anymore. After 5 days, they're gone. However, pro members can watch them forever. or for as long as the site exists for. So, if the world blows up, we can't watch it. But so if you wanted to watch the replay, you can watch here, House Hacking 101, how to get paid to live and invest for free, hour and 25 minutes. How to achieve massive success with fixer-upper rentals using the BRRR method, hour and 7 minutes. How to attract private money to fund your real estate deals, hour and 12 minutes. If I started over, here's 10 things I would do to build my real estate portfolio again, hour and 21 minutes. Buy smart, how to analyze rental properties using the BiggerPockets rental property calculator, hour and 24 minutes. 7 steps to getting started building your real estate empire. How to make $1 million from real estate, hour 33. How to quit your job through the power of real estate, hour 30. How to evaluate and market a wholesale real estate deal, hour 28. How to invest in small multifamilies, hour 38. How to find, analyze, and finance an incredible rental property deal, hour 32. How to use BiggerPockets. That's basically the same one as we're doing today. Today's a little more updated, but that was the older one. How to use BiggerPockets. The 10 must follow steps to buy your first rental property, hour 9. And then the 5 most common roadblocks new real estate investors face, an hour 7. So there's 14 of them, I think there's 13 or 14, 12, 13, anyway, in there. Obviously, that's quite a bit. So if you want to check that out, if you're a pro member, I highly recommend checking that out. If you're not a pro member, if you sign up, you can get full access to that and watch like over, almost 15, 20 hours, something like that, worth of this content. And you can learn all about those cool things. So let's go back over to the... All right, am I missing anything? I don't think so. I think that's about it. So I'll go back to that screen in just a second, but question answers, just keep in mind, I am not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant, not a doctor, not your mother. Answers are just my own opinion, not legal advice. If you have any questions at all, now's your time. Put them in the question area. I won't get to all of them, I'm sure, because I always have a lot, but whatever I can help you out with, I want to help you out with. So go ahead and post it in there, and then we will, let me check and see what we got here. All right, Paul said, I haven't used Pro yet to its fullest extent, but ultimately I'm glad to have supported BP. So Paul, thank you so much for that. That's awesome. I appreciate that a ton. Let's see. Oh, there is a lot in here. Scott asked a good question. Are you going to be coming out with a calculator for different commercial properties, like the option to utilize different loan periods, like 15-year, 5-year balloon, 20-year amortization? So right now you can do things like the amortization. I honestly, I've never really thought, how deep do we want to go with this? We've kind of always assumed the calculators, we're going to build them as deep as people want us to go. And so my assumption has always been, if you're into big, heavy commercial properties, you probably have some expensive, like $10,000 software to analyze those. But maybe I'm wrong. So I'll definitely put that on the docket to be worked on if you guys are interested in a little bit more in depth, like, internal rate of return and all that kind of fancy stuff that commercial properties need. I'm definitely not opposed to adding more to the calculators. So let's see what else we got. Christine said, another great webinar. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you very much, Christine. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, Grace asked a good question. Can you talk a bit about the foreclosures section on the site? It seems like there's a link to an external website. So, okay, yeah. So if you guys have seen the link in the nav bar to foreclosure.com, there's a link that says for find foreclosures. That is not BiggerPockets. That's actually foreclosure.com, which is a separate site. They just have a partnership. BiggerPockets is a partnership where I think we give there's a discount when you go on there. If you pay for foreclosure.com, which is totally different to find deals, that's just totally different than what we do. So I don't know. I guess that's pretty much what it is. It doesn't include, it's not part of the BiggerPockets Pro. It's not part of BiggerPockets period. We just link to them as like an advertiser. They're just a sponsor of BP. So anyway, hope that helps. Paul asked, are calculator results private or can others see them? They are private, so nobody else can see them unless you download them and then send them the PDF report. In the future, we're going to make it possible, hopefully in the next few weeks, so that way you can email people access with like a code or something. But right now, no, it's totally private. Let's see. All right, here's a good question. Anthony said, when investing in higher priced markets like Boston, New York, etc., do you have any suggestions when looking for multifamily owner-occupied properties? Yes. All right, so first of all, the idea of living in a property as an owner-occupant and then invest as a multifamily owner-occupant property, which is you live in one unit, rent the other ones out. My suggestion is this. First of all, look for HUD homes or HUD properties, which is properties foreclosed on by housing or urban development. They're basically like FHA repos. The reason why is because typically when a HUD home goes on the market, there's an exclusion for the first 2 weeks, so that way you can't, that other people can't bid on them. Investors can't bid on them, only homeowners. But homeowners don't want multifamilies. So there's this really cool sweet spot where there's very, very little competition. So anyway, you can get usually really good deals that way. Secondly, again, if you're in a high price market like Boston, New York, where it's really, really spendy, you may not be able to live for free. You may not be able to live like, you may only get partially discount. However, I know people that are in Boston that are doing house hacking. They bought a triplex and they did a 203K loan, which is something I talk about in my book a lot. But they did a 203K remodel loan so they could wrap the remodel fees and the property in one and just pay one down payment. And then they bought a property, fixed it up, increased the rents, and now they're living for cheap in that property. So I know that's possible as well. Also, sometimes some areas you might just not be able to find them very easily. You have to really search and maybe they won't be there for a while. Again, not all strategies work in all areas, but typically, I know people in Boston specifically. We interviewed somebody on the podcast a while back that was doing that in Boston. So I know it is possible. So, yeah, there's a blog post I wrote a long time ago on BiggerPockets called how to invest in real estate when you live in an expensive market. I wish I had a link for that, but anyway, maybe Google it and look for that, but it's there somewhere. Let's see. Brian said, where do you get all your energy from? Do you drink a lot of coffee? I actually can't drink coffee. So this is a funny story. So if I drink coffee, even a half a cup of coffee, my heart starts pounding. And the only way I can make it feel better is hitting myself in the chest a bunch. Just it hurts. And I'm like that. It's really bad. So where do I get my energy from? I have no idea. I don't know. I like being in front of webinars. I like doing webinars. Let's see. There's a good question. Hi, Brandon. I'm pretty young, 15, and was wondering what kind of advice you had for younger people. And yes, I'm really serious about this. I'm reading books, I'm watching videos, listening to podcasts. Thanks. First of all, that's awesome, Ian, that you're young and you're getting into real estate or want to get into it. So a couple thoughts. One, use your age. Okay, first of all, finish school and do absolutely the best possible thing that you can do in school. Do your best work because you're going to need that in your future. So high school prepares you for life in ways that they don't explain to you in high school. I mean, it's what you learn in high school doesn't matter. It's the fact that you learn in high school that matters. If that's my opinion anyway. I think you learn in high school and you'll never use that calculus. You'll never use that, history lesson about, the War of 1812. However, the fact that you're learning how to learn, and when you learn how to study and how to learn, that will help you for the rest of your life. So I definitely recommend that. And that's not just for young people. I mean, anybody that's anybody on this webinar, learn like a high schooler learns because there's such value in that. Secondly, age is an advantage, not a disadvantage. You can tweet that. You can write it down if you want. Age is an advantage, not a disadvantage. And it's an advantage in a couple ways. Number one, when you are young, you've got massive amount of time for exponential growth. Is there anybody here on the webinar that's 50 years old or older or 40 or older and you wish you would have started when you were younger, right? Imagine if you knew now what Ian knows now, being able to learn exponential growth and be able to imagine if every 5 years you could double, every 5 years, let's say you could double your investment. You've got 40 years to go until you're retired. Or 50 years, right? Until you wanted to, until you're too old to be able to work. You got 50 years. So if you could double it every 5 years, it's amazing the massive, the difference you'll have when you're older. Let's see, what other tips do I got for that? Once you're able to buy a house, you probably can't buy a house yet unless you get a parent to co-sign, but anybody young, once you buy a house, use your age as an asset to build relationships with people. Older people love to build relationships with younger people. I love it when younger people ask me for advice because I'm I'm going to help them because I see myself in them when I was their age. So I see a 20-year-old, I want to help them because I'm I remember that when I was that old. So I use that to your advantage. There's another site. If you want to do more research on that, go to Google and type in how to invest in real estate at a young age. Brandon Turner or BiggerPockets. And I wrote a post called How to Invest in Real Estate at a Young Age. It's very popular. It's got 1,000 shares or something like that. So definitely check that out. Let's see, what other questions we got here? James asked, should I pay a mentor? And if so, how much? So here's my thinking on mentors and on coaches and stuff. I understand that mentors and coaches may have value. I do understand that. I mean, I would love to have a coach teach me how to get a six-pack abs. I know how to get a six-pack. I do. I mean, do enough sit-ups, right? Eat healthy. Yet I've known that for 10 years. Why don't I have a six-pack? It's because I want a coach to walk me through that. That said, if I wanted a personal trainer is going to cost me $20 an hour, maybe $50 an hour. If I wanted a real estate coach, it's going to cost me $10,000 an hour, and I'm going to get crap information most likely. So that's the difference. I understand the value, but most people don't learn from mentors and from like coaches, like professional coaches. Now, there is an exception to every rule. I'm just saying that I never learned from anybody I ever paid any money for. I mean, like, I have BiggerPockets Pro membership, and that was like it. Uh, I mean, I paid for books if that counts, but like, I don't know. I know people make money that way, but I can't recommend it. I mean, I know people like succeed in real estate because they took a course or they paid for a mentor or a coach or whatever. I don't know. I'm so reluctant to tell people to ever do that simply because so many people don't do it right. There are legitimate coaches out there and legitimate trainers. I know that. And there are people I would probably pay for. Just when you're first starting out, that's very scary. So I would say this. Before you pay any money, listen to 119 episodes of the BiggerPockets podcast. Make that your entrance fee. If you can get through all 119 episodes, and then at the end of that, and you were to say, okay, I still need a coach, then go pay for a coach. I wouldn't pay a lot, but maybe you can work a deal where, like a partner. And then that's another side of it. If you want to pay for someone, why not instead find a local investor who's doing exactly what you want to do and doing it really well, and go and work with them. Maybe ask to just work for them. I mean, maybe they'll pay you to work for them. Maybe you can just do their books. Maybe you can do their marketing. Maybe you can do their door knocking, whatever it is, help them. Have them help you train. I mean, if they're older than you, they're going to want to help you out just because they're older. That's that older younger thing. It always works. Yeah, I mean, again, you could pay for somebody, but I'm just nervous. So go listen to the podcast first. Let's see. Conway asks, can we make an iPad optimized version of your app? So yeah, the new developer we're looking to hire, hopefully we'll be doing an Android version and an iPad version. That said, the site is mobile optimized for an iPad, so just use Safari on your iPad and it should work just as well. But we will get an app at some point this summer, hopefully. Let's see. Nick said, you rock, bro. Thanks for a great site. REI on. Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate that. Let's see. All right. So somebody said, Yuli said, I maxed out my credit by buying 4 properties. What would you suggest to do to fund my next deal? Portfolio lenders. There's a blog post I wrote recently called like how I use portfolio lender, or how portfolio lenders changed my investing business or something like that. And I kind of talk about it, but portfolio lenders are small community banks that don't sell their loans at the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and they can help you get more than 4 loans. They can help you get 5, 6, 10, whatever. I have a lot more loans than 4, and it's okay because portfolio lenders don't care as much. They're more relationship based. Now, it might be really hard to find a portfolio lender, but once you find one, they can be extremely helpful. So just search the site BiggerPockets for portfolio lender. You might find something good. Let's see. What else we got here? Bill said, what's the first call you would make just if you're just starting out? So I could assume that you're being literal and you're saying, actually, what's the first phone call? Or I could guess that you're being like hypothetical and like, what's the first like call I would make? I'm going to go with, let's do both. The first phone call I would make is to probably a real estate agent, just to start networking, just to build up a relationship. Call a few real estate agents, ask to meet, find one who invests in real estate. That'd be key. Ask if they invest in any real estate themselves, or if they know any investor or agents that do invest in real estate. As for what's your first like hypothetical call, like what's the first action? Read the Ultimate Beginner's Guide, biggerpockets.com/UBG, and listen to all the podcasts you can possibly fit into your day over the next month. Listen to a ton of them. Like, you are the average of the 5 people you associate with the most. You are the average of the 5 people you associate with the most. So make the BiggerPockets podcast 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 of those people. I mean, don't listen more than you talk to your wife, but I mean, really make your focus to hang out with people on the podcast, to learn from the investors, to sharpen your tools so you can take on more projects. Let's see. David said, pro membership beats the thousands other charges for this much. I appreciate that, David. I really think so. I mean, our goal with the pro membership is to keep it as cheap as humanly possible. I mean, we want to keep the price as low as possible to be able to still fund us so we can do stuff on the site to make more tools, but to keep it reasonable. I mean, the average guru charges like minimum $10,000 for some kind of like packet of information that you'd get far more off reading the UBG and listening to these webinar replays. I mean, 10,000 is the minimum. The average is 20. And some of the bigger guys go up to 50, 75, even $100,000. There was a girl a while ago on the forums who said she paid $40,000 for training and got no information from them. They didn't give her hardly anything at all that she couldn't have read in a book. And then when she asked questions, there was no one there to answer her questions. She just lost $40,000. I mean, so that BiggerPockets, like I always like to say, it's the ultimate mentor. If you have questions, like try contacting one of those $40,000 mentors. They're probably too busy for you raising money from the next guy for $40,000. It's like a giant Ponzi scheme. But if you have a question, ask BiggerPockets for free on the forums and you'll get answers. That's why BiggerPockets can help you become a Rockstar investor. Now, I mean, I really firmly believe that. I really do. So anyway, thank you very much, David, for saying that. Let's see. Amanda said, is there a calculator app for the iPhone? So technically it's not an app again, but we just made the webinar. We just made it mobile optimized. So check it out there. All right. With that, I got to head out of here, guys. I know there's a lot of questions I didn't get to, and I'm really, really sorry. Man, there's like a million of them. So I will just kind of leave you with this. If you have, oh, it's funny. Isaac said, I was floored when I saw it was just $20, $29 a month. I was paying $2,000 for a 3-day seminar, which would have led to a $40,000 project, which is how I found BiggerPockets. So that's awesome. I mean, that's really what we try to talk about with BiggerPockets Pro is don't pay tens of thousands of dollars. Learn here first. If you think you need more after that, then worry about it afterwards. But don't waste your $40 or $50 or $100,000. Just, learn first. So with that, I got to head out of here. If you have more questions, I'm sure there's a ton I didn't get to, and I'm so sorry I didn't get to them. If you have, if they're pressing, go put them in the forums. Ask there. I guarantee you there's people that can help you. Much, much smarter than me. If you did upgrade to BiggerPockets Pro tonight, send me an email. Brandon@biggerpockets.com. Again, Brandon@biggerpockets.com. Send me an email and we'll talk. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up there as well. Again, this expires tonight. So if you want to take advantage of all those cool bonuses, plus all the discount and the $58 savings, go pro annual tonight and then send me an email. Let me know you did. Brandon@biggerpockets.com. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to leave this screen up, but I'm going to head out of here. I'm going to go try to fix what I broke on the podcast today. Oops. So go check out the BiggerPockets Ask BP podcast as well. And I will see you around the site. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. You guys, thank you so much for another awesome webinar, and I will see you around. Thank you.